Hello and welcome to American Wasp. I am your host, Dieter McBusiness, America's favorite white Anglo-Saxon Protestant gone left coastal. Today, special little edition. I'm going to try to keep tabs on this guy because this guy, Joe Walsh, who has a show called The Social Contract and a little pet project called HopeNotFearProject.org that I'm not really familiar with, but he's one of those super righteous anti-MAGA conservatives. He was originally a congressman from I don't even know where, but for the Tea Party. He was originally a Tea Party congressman, and now he's an anti-Trump conservative. So we're going to check him out in a minute, and then after that, we're going to get into Ken Martin, who is the DNC chair, the feckless DNC chair, who has no idea how to lead a party. But first things first, let's get into Joe Walsh. My thesis is that these anti-Trump conservatives, these anti-MAGA conservatives, they cannot be trusted because as soon as they get an opportunity to go back to the Republican Party once Trump's no longer around, they're going to go back. That's my whole point. So watch this and be on the lookout for that. And notice his super breathy and overly dramatic tone. There's no wonder why conservatives don't make for good actors, because good acting is about truth. And this guy is just full of shit. You can hear it by the way he talks. Listen.
Wednesday. Hope you're having a good week. I don't really fit anywhere politically. You know that. I've talked about that now.
Oh, poor baby. I don't really fit anywhere politically either, but I still vote in Democratic Party primaries because the Republican Party is evil. The Democratic Party is incompetent, which means you can resurrect the Democratic Party from its incompetence and make it a righteous party. But this guy doesn't seem interested in doing that. This guy seems interested in people and individuals and institutions catering to him.
For years, this former Republican congressman, this former Tea Party guy, this former Republican, this former independent, this guy who now is a temporary Democrat.
There he is. There it is. He's a temporary Democrat. Listen, keep listening. This is amazing. The entitlement.
Really fit anywhere politically. It's not easy, but I've resigned myself to that, and there's nothing else I can do because I am what I am. I have to say what I believe.
No, you don't. You can adapt. You can grow. You can learn from people who know more than you. You can do better. Remember, Star Trek is policy. Star Trek is about bettering yourself. It's not about maximizing GDP per capita.
I support the issues and the policies I support. So no regrets, no doubts, no regrets. Maybe every now and then a doubt over things I've done the last 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 years, but no regrets.
The fact that he doesn't regret being a part of the Tea Party is a testament to not only his ignorance, not only his hypocrisy, but his narcissism. Okay? Remember the 3 cardinal sins of American party politics: hypocrisy, narcissism, and ignorance. All right? This guy is a hypocrite, and I don't think he's a narcissist, but he's got narcissistic tendencies, and he's very ignorant because the Tea Party was the sociocultural foundation for what has become MAGA. And that's why this guy exists, was because of that foundation. And now he's rejecting that foundation. Dude, you helped to build it.
I am who I am, and who I am in American politics in 2026 does not really fit in either political party. I'm clearly, I clearly do not fit in today's Republican Party, which...
Listen to the victimhood. Oh, poor me. I don't have a party. Nobody's listening to me. Yeah, because you're conservative. Because you're conservative, and conservatism doesn't work. Conservative capitalism doesn't work. Baby boomer conservative capitalism doesn't work.
Is why I left today's Republican Party about, 6, 7 years ago.
Oh, so you've been around for 6, 7 years, and you want us to respect you as rejecting Trump in time? No way, dude. You don't get credibility. You still voted for him in 2016. You still voted for him in 2016. That's a strike, brother. That's a fucking strike. 2 more and you're out. My second strike on you is that you consider yourself a temporary member of the Democratic Party, which means you think the left is going to adapt to you. Wrong. You are going to adapt to the left, or you are not going to be welcome on the left, because guess what? We don't need you. We got the numbers without you. It's 67-33 if you isolate Trump trash and you get all the independents to vote your way. Right? It's still like 60-40, at worst 55-45 if we just let the independents do what they want. We don't worry about them. I'm not worried about the middle of the road independents. I'm worried about the leftist independents who don't want to vote for genocide. Another source of ignorance. He has no concept of what things are like on the left. And yet he's going to come in and offer his goddamn opinion as if we give a fuck.
And I don't think I'll ever fit in that Republican Party ever again. I'm a Democrat now for 10 to 11 months, but as I tell everybody, I'm a temporary Democrat. I'm a Democrat.
See? There it is again. He expects the party to adapt to him. Incredible. You've been here 6 months. You've been here 6 months. It's like showing up to a job and expecting them to accommodate, your habits, your bad habits. It's ridiculous.
Only because I want to help the Democrats defeat my former party. When it comes to policy, when it comes to things I believe in, I'm not really a Democrat. I'm politically homeless, and that's fine, right? Because we all got to be who we are, and if we are...
No, you're supposed to fucking grow. People change over time. You're supposed to adapt. You're supposed to evolve. You just want to stay in the same goddamn place, and you expect us to accommodate you. We've been accommodating you for 45 fucking years.
Who we are, and it doesn't fit in either box, then it doesn't fit in either box. Now, you can do what a lot of Republicans, every Republican has done in this Trump era, and make yourself fit in that box. And there are a lot of Democrats who make themselves fit in that box, and maybe, though I'll probably be long gone, but maybe not, but maybe there will be one day a viable third party, maybe even a viable fourth party.
Ranked choice voting. Who knows?
That's a long
He talks about multiple parties, but then doesn't mention ranked choice voting. Again, a sign of surreal ignorance from this former congressman, from this former Tea Party congressman. He doesn't even know about ranked choice voting. Get a fucking clue, you ignoramus.
Did introduction this Wednesday to the point I wanted to get at. I am an absolutist about the things I believe in.
Oh, and what's that they say in Star Wars? Only a Sith deals in absolutes. There you go. Star Wars, being politics, strikes again.
One of the things I believe in, one of the things that I am an absolutist about is free speech.
Oh, Jesus
Period.
Christ. Those who obsess over their right to free speech often abuse that right. Okay, it's the reason why we have circular arguments, why we keep talking about the same things decade in and decade out. It's because conservatives don't understand that the purpose of free speech is to have productive discourse where we reach consensus about certain things. Like, for example, abortion. We had that argument back in the 60s and 70s. We had that conversation with ourselves and we made a decision. And then people couldn't get over it. People couldn't let it go. I'm talking about the Bible beaters now. And so that became, in and of itself, a microculture on the right that turned into a subculture on the right that turned into the foundation for now what is MAGA. The biggest hypocrites in MAGA are the Bible beaters. There's no doubt about that.
End of story. One of the reasons, period. End of story. One of the reasons I love this country of ours is because we have, in spite of the guy in the White House, the tyrant, the fascist in the White House, we have the most open, broadest, most liberal definition of free speech in America compared to all of our allies around the place, where you are.
I mean, this guy is so caught up in American exceptionalism, it's not even funny. I mean, he's just one of those guys. This is the narcissism aspect of his discourse where, you've got, first of all, you've got the victimhood, which justifies the narcissism, which justifies the ignorance, which justifies the hypocrisy. And then now you've got the entitlement.
Allowed more than any other country on the planet to say what you want to say what you believe. Plenty of our European allies have a much different notion of free speech.
Yeah,
plenty of our
lot of their
European
societies work better
allies
than
will
ours.
penalize and criminalize speech. Thank God right now, and we're hanging by a thread because we do have a fascist in the White House who abhors free speech,
But he's not willing to admit that his former political party is now the party of fascism, and he will never go back until it is cleansed of fascism, which means that every current Trump-supporting representative in Congress, in the Senate, in the executive branch, in the judiciary branch, everything that Trump has touched must be rejected. And until we are cleansed of that cancer, we will never evolve. And that's where he should be. But instead, he just keeps thinking that his party can be redeemed. Listen to him. He wants to go back and fix it. Or he wants someone else to fix it, and then he wants to go back. He doesn't want to go back and fix it because he knows he's going to lose because MAGA is too powerful.
right now we're hanging by a thread. This notion of free speech. I'm an absolutist with free speech, and I'll criticize, and I have, man, over the years, criticized the left and Democrats when they try to silence and censor speech. We now live.
What's that? What he's talking about there is when the left criticizes back people who say openly bigoted and ignorant things. And they say, oh, you're hating on their right to free speech. It's like, no, we're hating on the speech itself. We think the speech itself is ignorant. We think the discourse is ignorant. And we're trying to evolve as a nation, and you're holding us back. See, where's that rhetoric from the left? Invoke superiority, guys. It's not hard to be superior to white trash, idiots, bullies, and cowards. Okay? You're not giving yourself a huge pat on the back or a huge ego boost by saying you're a superior person to MAGA trash, because they're trash. So all you're doing is saying you're better than trash. So it's not that much of a self-compliment.
In an era where it's the Republicans, it's my former party, hell-bent on silencing and censoring speech because my former party is a cult. It's an
Look, there we go. So here we go. Now there's some hope. Maybe he's going to say something that he was going to reject the party until all the Trump trash are gone. Let's hear it. Come on, Joe.
and embracing cult, and their cult leader, Donald Trump, the guy in the White House, the fascist in the White House, he despises free speech. Now, there's always a wrinkle with Trump because he's a fucking idiot. He doesn't really understand free speech, but
See, there are moments of brilliance with this guy. There's moments of potential here, right? This is what's so frustrating is this guy actually has a little bit of talent. And that's why he was a congressman, because he's got a little bit of talent. But he's so caught up in the culture of conservatism the inherited beliefs as opposed to the earned convictions, if you've seen my essays. He has not earned these convictions, he has inherited them. So he is defending himself, his own narcissism, his family history, his lineage. That's what he's doing when he's talking like this. When he's reluctant to really fully commit to being anti-MAGA. He claims to be anti-MAGA. He calls Trump a fascist. He calls the Republican Party a cult now. But he's still like open-minded about going back.
Instinctively, like any good dictator, like any good fascist, does not want to allow speech that criticizes him. He wants to get rid of all speech that he.
Okay, so there's a specific example, right, that he's offering about how Trump suppresses speech. But when he brought up leftists suppressing speech, he didn't give one example. You know why? Because leftists don't want to suppress speech. They want you to be loud and proud with your ignorance so that we don't have to take you seriously. Go ahead, wear your MAGA hat in Philadelphia or Boston, Chicago, LA, San Francisco, Seattle, Portland, even places like Dallas, Austin, Texas, New Orleans, Louisiana, Miami. Try wearing a MAGA hat in these cities once Trump is out of office. See what happens.
Doesn't like all good dictators, Trump, the current president of the United States, would love to, if he could, and he's trying, throw people in jail who exercise speech he doesn't like. Just to remind you, just in the last day or two, what was it, 2 days ago, Donald Trump, the president of the United States, demanded that a comedian be fired for telling a joke. There's no but. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. A comedian told a joke last week, and the president of the United States demanded that comedian be fired. That is a direct assault on free speech. And if you don't understand that, if you can't see that, if you can't agree with that, I pray for you.
Oh, shut up. Pray for yourself.
No buts. A comedian told a joke. End of story. In America, you can be a comedian and tell a joke. About Trump, about Obama, about Muslims, about Christians.
Yeah, this was the case in his first term, though. He did this kind of shit in his first term. So, where were you, Joe? You say you left MAGA, you left the Republican Party 6 or 7 years ago. Well, that wasn't that long ago, bro. That was 2020, 2019. So what, you're saying the end of Trump, once Trump started to botch COVID, then you bailed, and then you were like, wait a second, former Republicans are doing really well in independent media right now. I'm just going to cash in on that. Like, if you see this, Joe, I want you to prove me wrong, man. I think you actually have potential to be a decent human being. You got to get past the culture, dude. You got to get past the culture.
Jews in America, hell yes, you can tell a joke and offend anybody because we have free speech. So 2 days ago, Trump went after a comedian for telling a joke, trying to silence that comedian, demanding that comedian be fired. And again, we've normalized. I think about my show yesterday. What are we even doing, right? That question kept banging in my head. What are we even doing having a debate on whose rhetoric is the worst? He's a fucking monster in the White House. Nobody's rhetoric comes close to Trump's. We so normalize this un-American behavior. The president of the United States, using the powers of his office, the most powerful office on the planet, using the powers of his taxpayer-funded office to demand a private individual be fired. Like, it's about the 400th time Trump's done this. I don't want the American people to think this is normal, this is right, this is the way it should be. That the president, the most powerful guy on the planet, can use the powers of his office to go after people, to demand people lose their livelihoods. Like, this should not be normal. It's wrong. And I think I said yesterday or the day before on some show, just imagine the next Democratic president using the powers of his or her office to demand that Sean Hannity be fired because he or she didn't like what Sean Hannity said about him. And so imagine that Democratic president sent out a tweet demanding that Hannity be fired. You imagine how fucking bananas the right would go? You imagine how bananas Fox News audience would go? And they should go bananas. They should go ballistic because it would be horrible and wrong. So why, right, my Fox News audience, right, all you Trump supporters, why is it not wrong what Trump's doing now, demanding that another private individual be fired, a comedian? Now, a Democratic president, the next Democratic president will not do that. But my fear is the normalization of this, especially with young Americans. Like, this is normal life. The president can use the power of that office to get people fired, to get people to shut up, just private individuals, go after private companies.
This is not normal. This is not right. And then yesterday, Trump indicted James Comey again. Yesterday, Donald Trump indicted James Comey for the second time, former FBI Director James Comey for the second time. For what? James Comey was exercising his free speech. Now, if you quibble with me that Donald Trump didn't indict James Comey yesterday, I'm going to respectfully say, fuck you, right? Because Trump demanded the Justice Department indict him again. Ordered, demanded. And again, behavior that is not normal, that is not right. The President of the United States should not run America's Justice Department. But we've blown through that wall. And so now how many Americans are out there right now who believe right now that the Justice Department is like the President's law firm? But Trump indicted Comey again yesterday for what? Keith, we got that image? James Comey last summer on vacation in North Carolina. James Comey posted this, 86-47. 86-47. 47 being the 47th President of the United States, Donald Trump. Keep that up for a sec, Keith. Comey posted that almost a year ago. I think it was early the summer of 25. Right away took it down and apologized for it. But that right there, with seashells, 86-47. James Comey, the former FBI director, has been indicted for threatening the life of the President of the United States. Now, for those of you at home who don't understand what 86 means, it's a slang term. I used to wait tables for years. I bartended for years. It's a slang term typically found in restaurants and bars, which means 86 can mean throw out. Hey, throw out the salmon. Hey, 86, the salmon on the menu. Discard. Refuse service to a certain table. Remove an item. 86. 86, the cheeseburgers. Thanks, Keith. And I suppose you could interpret it as 86, throw out Trump, discard Trump, get rid of Trump. Somebody kill Trump. Except James Comey came out and said that's not at all what he meant. And he removed the post. I'm not going to get into it. Every legal scholar in the last 24 hours, from left to right, has said that this indictment is an utter joke, an absolute joke that will go nowhere. The entire case is that image and what Comey said. No, I did not at all mean to threaten the president's life. That's it. That's it. That's the entire case. The point is, this is another attack on the free speech rights of a private individual in America. And from the moment he got sworn in, Trump has used the Justice Department to go after his political enemies. It's the second time he indicted Comey. The first one was thrown out. This one will get thrown out as well. That doesn't matter. What matters is the president is using the powers of his office to tell the Justice Department what to do. That's wrong. That's un-American. That's illegal. That's impeachable. And once again, Donald Trump is attacking free speech. Demands a comedian get fired for telling a joke. Demands a former FBI director be thrown into jail for expressing an opinion. It's always difficult with Trump, and I mean this because he really is an idiot. I know that Trump doesn't really formally understand what free speech is, but we also just know that he's going after all of his political opponents for exercising it. Because Trump doesn't like criticism, so he tries to silence it. Trump doesn't like people attacking him, so he tries to throw them in jail. It's something, isn't it? And it was on display yesterday when King Charles visiting America, speaking before a joint session of Congress. Think about it, 250 years later, a literal king coming here, lecturing America 250 years later about you better defend democracy and freedom. You're losing your way, America. You've forgotten checks and balances and separation of powers. I'm a king. You better listen to me. I thought there were no kings in America. I mean, it was something listening to King Charles come here yesterday and rightly lecture this country on freedom and opposing kings in America. That on its own should wake up so many Americans. The other reminder, when I saw this story of Trump indicting Comey for posting that image with seashells, is how soft we've all gotten as a people in America when it comes to speech. This is across the board, left, right, and in between. When it comes to speech in America, we used to be much more tolerant. We used to be much tougher. We used to put up with, people said mean, shitty, offensive things to us back in prior generations, and we Americans wouldn't cry about it or whine about it or sued somebody or tried to get somebody thrown in jail because we didn't like what they said. We used to, right, prior generations, live according to that maxim, sticks and stones will break my bones, but names will never hurt me. We now live in a time, and again, it's across the political spectrum, because it wasn't that long ago that I'm on the radio making fun of the left for needing their safe spaces from speech that made them so easily triggered. We now live in a time where it's MAGA, it's the MAGA right that's so easily triggered, and they want to ban speech that offends them. But it makes me sad because way too many of us, Trump's, by the way, Trump's the paradigm, Trump's the example, Trump's the consequence of this, right? A dictator, a fascist, a crybaby, a victim who wants to outlaw and censor speech he finds offensive, right? He's the worst of us when it comes to free speech, but he's in the White House to a large degree because so many people in America are losing their way when it comes to really accepting free speech. And I worry about a day coming where we might literally criminalize speech in this country. You say something offensive about a Jew or a Muslim, like in European countries, and you've got cops knocking on your door. You post something on Facebook that's offensive about Muslims or Jews or Christians, and the local police are knocking on your door, right? Can never happen in America, right? Will never happen in America, right? I hope not. I'm not so sure. This image that Comey posted, 86-47. Terry Moran, formerly of ABC News, posted something yesterday that was a great reminder, gives great context to how we've all weakened our belief in speech. We're not as tough and resilient when it comes to free speech, when it comes to allowing free speech in this country anymore. In 1969, there was a case that got to the Supreme Court. A Vietnam War protester who opposed the draft publicly said in 1969, if they ever make me carry a rifle, the first man I want to get in my sights is LBJ. 1969, Vietnam War protester publicly said, if they ever make me carry a rifle, the first man I want to get in my sights is LBJ, President Johnson. That guy, back in 1969, that protester, he was charged with threatening the president. The Supreme Court tossed the case in 1969, got rid of it, declaring that political hyperbole is free speech. Oh my God, how far we've fallen. In 1969, you could say, hey, if they ever make me serve in Vietnam, man, and they make me carry a rifle, first guy I want in my sights is President Johnson. If you said something like that today, the entire country would wig out. The other side would wig out. Depending on who said it, left or right, the other side would go crazy. You'd probably be arrested, or somebody knock on your doors, somebody'd sue you, somebody'd go after you. I don't know what would happen if you said something like that today. If I said today, man, if Trump's trying to institute the draft, and I said today, man, if Donald Trump institutes the draft and he tries to draft my son, man, and he makes my son carry a rifle, man, I hope my son will put him in his sights, President Trump in his sights. The first one my son puts in his sights, I hope will be President Trump. If I said something like that today, I would be wiped out. Advertisers would flee. I'd probably lose my show. I'd be bounced off of platforms. The right would demand that I be fired, and I'd be kicked off of social media, and I would probably be charged with something.
Okay, he's not wrong, but all of that was just speculation. He has no idea what actually would happen if those conditions were satisfied. But anyway, get back to this guy. He's full of shit. If you're just joining us, please like, share, and subscribe if you haven't already.
Because again, we've softened on speech. We've weakened on speech. We've grown less tolerant of real free speech. We are way too fucking easily offended by speech, much more so than 1969. I mean, this Vietnam protester said that. He was charged, but then the Supreme Court, immediately threw it out. That's political hyperbole. And political hyperbole is protected speech. It's a funny place to be in. A president who goes after free speech every single day. And a country full of people, I fear, is not embracing free speech like prior Americans did. Two other quick stories this Wednesday. There's so much that happens every day. Like, hello, meanwhile, we're still at war in Iran. You know that? See the price of gas yesterday? Pump? See that price of gas going up, highest in 5 years? We're still at war. The economy's still being hammered. Trump came out, I think, yesterday and declared victory for the 19th time. I'm not kidding. So much going on. So much shit and crap every single day. We miss stories that are important. Like this one. Keith, you got that U.S. ambassador to Ukraine? Like, nobody's going to talk about this today. Keep that up for a sec, Keith. The second United States ambassador to Ukraine, the second ambassador in a row, just resigned. Julie Davis, acting U.S. ambassador in Kyiv. She resigned yesterday, following her predecessor, Bridget Brink, who resigned a year and a half ago. Two U.S. ambassadors to Ukraine resigning, back to back, right in a row. Keep that up for a sec, Keith. Why? Julie Davis said, because of growing frustration of Trump's dwindling support for Ukraine. Julie Davis, our ambassador to Ukraine, resigned point blank because she does not believe the President of the United States supports Ukraine. And so she can't in good conscience serve in that position. Her predecessor, Bridget Brink, said the exact same thing. She resigned because she said the President of the United States does not support Ukraine. Thanks, Keith. Think about that. Again, I know there's so much else going on today, right? So much else every day to think about. This one won't get noticed. This one will slip under the rug. Our last two ambassadors to Ukraine resigning because Trump doesn't support Ukraine. Now that should just right be a 5-alarm fire, man. Red flag, man. It's a big deal. Oh my God. Putin versus Ukraine. Putin invades Ukraine. Here we are 4 years later. They're still going at it. And we actually have a guy in the White House who is not on Ukraine's side, but is actually on Putin's side. Whoa, world, wake up. America, wake up. This is like frightening. Should be. Should be big news. Should be. But it won't be. It won't be. This story will barely garner a blip. And when I read about this yesterday, knowing that the first ambassador resigned a year ago and why she resigned, because Trump doesn't support Ukraine, this was not at all surprising to me. And it shouldn't be surprising to anybody who's paying attention. Because as we've said now a gazillion times, the President of the United States, Donald Trump, sides with Putin. He's on Putin's side. He's on the bad guy's side. He's siding with Putin over Ukraine. He has from the moment he was sworn in. It's a horrible, scary truth. Trump works for Putin. The President of the United States works for Putin. The President of the United States, as long as he's President of the United States is not on the side of the free world. Ukraine is fighting the fight for the free world.
Okay.
Russia is.
So this is contrary to what he said earlier. He has said in previous episodes that America has always been a force for good in the world. once again, we are here at one of the three cardinal sins of American party politics: hypocrisy, narcissism, and ignorance.
Opposed to the free world. America right now, where's America right now? We're with Russia. We're with Putin. We're against the free world. Because we have somebody in the White House who works for Putin.
Tripped all over it.
We have a president who's on Putin's side. Life's just too short to beat around the bush. We have a Russian asset in the White House. Wittingly or unwittingly. And I've known this for a while. Maybe you have. It should still be just unbelievably frightening. 2 ambassadors in a row telling the world, we're out of here because Trump's with Putin. I can't be the ambassador to Ukraine. I want Ukraine to succeed. I can't do my job when the guy above me wants Putin to succeed. That's enough, Keith. I'm done. I had 3 other things, but I won't get to 3 other things right now. HopeNotFearProject.org. There it is right there. HopeNotFearProject.org. Check it out. The conversations I'm having around the country every 2 weeks, putting people in a room who disagree, having these tough conversations, filming these tough conversations.
I really want to get on that show because I think that Joe Walsh is oblivious to there being a third option. I think Joe Walsh of the Social Contract is oblivious to there being a third option in terms of whether you're on the left or whether you're on the right. It's whether or not you want to blow up one of the parties and start over. And that's what the progressive left wants to do, is not necessarily blow up the party, but usurp the baby boomer leadership because they're garbage. And it's time that we call them garbage. So for those of you who don't know who Joe Walsh is, who joined me a little bit late, he was a Tea Party congressman who says he now has been a Democrat for 6 or 7 months, and he left the Republican Party, became independent 6 or 7 years ago, something like that. And I'm like, dude, you still voted for Trump the first time. You still were a part of the subculture that established the foundation for MAGA, which was the Tea Party, for those of you that don't know. Never forget the Tea Party, guys. All right, I'm going to go soon unless you guys want to fire up the chat and talk some shit. Go ahead and fire away on the chat if there's something you want me to talk about. Otherwise, I am going to bounce, and I might be back later with reacting to Ken Martin, who is the DNC chair and a complete Gen X pussy. So that's my prerogative later today. If you want to keep an eye out, I'll be probably going live again. Until then, unless you guys want to fire me one on the chat. 3, 2, 1. All right, guys. See you next time. Never forget, you don't get change in America by asking nice.